And that's all I got to say about that. Hope they help. Enoch Book Tomb says, hey, coach, what exactly does it mean to put God first? Would you mind explaining? I don't mind explaining at all. This is what it means to put God first, is to acknowledge him before you do anything. Acknowledging God reveals humility. Not acknowledging God reveals pride. I need to acknowledge God all the time. I'm not talking about I need to acknowledge God to go brush my teeth. I don't got to acknowledge God about that. God, should I go brush my teeth? Should I go use the bathroom? No, we're not talking about those things. We're talking about acknowledging God, just being available. See, acknowledging God is also always, it starts with availability. See, I acknowledge God, but my acknowledgement of God begins with my availability. See, when you're not available, you're not going to be well able. You see what I'm saying? And if you're not well able, you might not hear well done. You see what I'm saying? So what you have to process is, have I made my day where God knows that I'm easily accessible, that I am available? Because if you're not available to God, that means there's no awareness of who he is. Because when you are aware of God's wisdom and aware of God's greatness, when you become aware of your own self-depravedness and your own sinful nature, and aware of, yes, you got Jesus' righteousness and penalty, but you also are aware that there's a lot more room to improve in the sanctification process. Awareness leads to the willing acknowledgement. God, I know nothing. And you can't get there on your own. You have to allow the Holy Spirit to humble you in a place where you're able to acknowledge him. Because if you don't acknowledge him, then you're telling God, hey, God, I got this. I don't need you to guide me. I got this from here. And most people don't know that they're treating God that way. Oh, it's cool. Everybody's cool when it's singleness. When they're single, everybody's cool when they're working for something. All quarterbacks play well in contract year. You know, all basketball players play exceptionally well when a contract is looming. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of players, their play goes down once they get the money. And that's how it is with God. We bust our butts. We work hard because we think we're going to get this max deal. We're going to get this, we're going to get Maxine. We're going to get Matthew. You see what I'm saying? We're going to get money. So we play hard. But then when we get it, we be like, God, I got it from here. I don't even really got to play hard. I don't really got to stay focused. I ain't really trying to win championships. I'm just trying to make money. And most people only with God because they want to make money. They don't really want to win championships on behalf of him. They don't want to be like Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs winning a championship for Andy Reid. Yes, they won a championship for themselves. Yes, they won, but it was greater. It became greater when they can win it for their coach. And when you live life to win only for you and not win for the crew, the divine triune Godhead, then man, what's the point of winning? And so my advice to you is, how aware are you of the greatness of God and the non-greatness of you and of yourself? Because when you become aware of that, you will willingly acknowledge God, because you know, I'm smart, I'm cool, but I ain't the smartest. Like for me, I know I'm wise, but I ain't the wisest. I know people's patterns. Yeah, I can predict things based upon patterns, but God knows even the depths of a person's heart. So, and I've learned this out of a bunch of stupid decisions. That's why I advise people to do it now. You avoid a bunch of consequences. And how you put them first? By intentionally doing it. Simple like this. God, I'm going to make sure I engage in a relationship with you and not get so consumed with my routines. Routines has a way of keeping God out of the middle. God must be in the middle. You see what I'm saying? Of everything. And how you do that is by saying, God, what do you want me to do today? And make it a habit. Be sensitive. Don't always play music in your car. In random times, God, is there anything you need for me to do? You got to go to God like a waiter or a waitress if you're a lady and say, how may I serve you? What do you need? And when you begin to do those different things, you will begin to have a different type of relationship with God. And the dialogue will be even grander, even better, because now you're not going to God asking for something. You asking God, can you do something? And then when you do that, he'll be first. But when you begin to live a life of putting God first, and you see the success from that, you can't help you can't wait to God, what you need me to do? For me, I don't do a video, I don't do a message, I don't do a book without talking to God. God, how you want me to deliver this to the people? I'm acknowledging you first. God, okay, Sometimes when I get in my flesh and I don't really want to work, or I don't really want to do something, and I'm like, God, I'm doing this for you. God, what you need me to do? Or God may be like, son, I want you to rest. God knows what's best. And so hope to help. So how do you put God first? What does that mean? It means being willing to acknowledge him first. When you need counsel, you go to him first. When it comes to your day, you give him the first fruits. It takes discipline to eventually make this a permanent thing. Because in the beginning, your flesh doesn't want to talk to God, because is God going to answer? God always answers. Does he answer audibly? No, not all the time. But he'll begin to show himself in a way that you know is him. But it means making sure that you stay humble, keeping God great in your eyes, keeping yourself little in your eyes, and realizing just how unwise you are compared to God's wisdom, and knowing that through Christ you have liberation and access to all the wisdom that you need. But remember, wisdom comes with a cost. Wisdom may be given to you free, but it'll cost you, because most people don't want to put God first and don't want God's wisdom, because they don't want to be washed. They don't want to be clean. They don't want to be obedient. Their flesh wants to do what they want to do. So the number one thing you must do, the most dominant thing you must do, and to make sure that you put God first, is to kill your flesh every day. If you take care of you by executing you will be of great use to God. Hope that